Well, good morning. Today was, yeah, it's still morning. Yeah, it's morning. I don't know what I'm looking at. Oh, that's the house. We're going to keep that in. That's a blooper, I think. Anyway, today is Wednesday, August 25th. I've been up for hours. I've been up since 5. It's like, I usually go to bed at 3. Actually, I did go to bed earlier last night, but that's another subject. Today is Lori Hensley's birthday, so Lori gets a song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lori. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. It's also Gail. I think her last name is Harris. Gail H. It's Gail's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gail. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. It's also Rosie. Okay, Rosie. Hang on here. Hang on, Rosie. Helminack. Okay. Helminiak. Okay, Sister Mary Anthony saying, sound it out, Sandy. Helminiak. Rosie Helminiak. How close am I, Rosie? Helminiak. Sorry, Rosie. But it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rosie. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I hope you all have a good birthday. And Rosie, I'm so sorry I screwed up your name. I know I screwed it up. But at least I got to sing today. That's the best part about the day. You hear the heat bugs? It's 11 o'clock. It is 91 degrees with the heat index today is supposed to get up to 99. And you know what's a sign that I'm old? It doesn't feel that hot. You know, remember when you go well, not me, because when I went to my grandma's house, we weren't allowed in the house. We had to sit out on the porch. I told you, I was like the 75th to 68th, something way up there, grandchild. My mother was the second youngest out of 10 kids, and everybody before her had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids themselves. And so I was like, okay, been there, done that a lot. Didn't really care. And then my grandma was like an older grandma. She was, by the time I came around, she was, you know, like I really thought she was old, but now that I think about it, she was like my age now. She was like 70. But the shine was off the penny by the time I came around. I'll tell you, that penny was no longer shiny. So she didn't really, so we had to sit out on the porch. But I don't know, what did I get on that subject? But I do remember when we go to my aunt's house. The house was always so stifling hot, and it was like, how can it be? She'd say, I am freezing. That's how I feel like when I'm in the air conditioner. I feel like I'm freezing. So I like to come out here and get warm. So it's not really that hot. But then when I go to Christy's house, my daughter, I feel like I'm going to the morgue. So yesterday, because I had to bring Denise to get her cataracts this morning, and you're not allowed in the office. You have to stay outside in the parking lot. But luckily, my daughter only lives like 5 minutes away. The place is like at 20 and Shaner, and Christie's basically at 19 and Shaner. Which, not if you're familiar with the area, you kind of know. So it was like a quick hop, skip, and a jump to go to Christie's house. But when I was getting all my stuff together, Jim says, it's supposed to be 90 tomorrow. Why? Where? I says, I'm going to the morgue tomorrow. He says, the morgue? And I go, Christie's house, yeah. It's cold. It's really cold. So I wore a sweatshirt and I wrapped myself in a blanket. But anyway, how did I bring that up? Oh, so I like sitting outside in the heat because I'm getting older and the heat doesn't bother me as much. So, like I said, it's like 90 some degrees, and to me it's just a little warm. Everybody else, and see Jim, who's overweight, complains that it's so, you know, like at night he says it's so hot in here, and I'm thinking it's kind of chilly myself. But you know, like I wrap up in a blanket, I wear my robe, I put a blanket on, I'm fine, you know. Anyway. So anyway, I got up early this morning to bring Denise. I got up earlier than I needed to get in because, like I said last week, or the week, it was last week. You know, Jim has his set time that he goes in there to get ready for work, and he does that every day of the week. So I don't want to mess with that. So I got up a little bit earlier so that he could get in at his usual time. And then I said, "See what a good wife I am." And he says, "Well, you could have just got in later." He didn't appreciate it. I'm thinking, why did I do that? Well, anyway, I was telling him it was funny because I don't like driving well, I don't like driving. And I especially don't like driving in the dark. And I especially don't like driving on a 2-lane highway. And especially when that 2-lane highway is under construction. Check, check, check. I know, well, other than the rain. But, and it's just, I don't, it's like a scary ride. But I didn't tell Denise. I'll tell her when I'm for sure I don't have to drive her that early in the morning anymore. But it was a scary ride for me, so if it was a scary ride for me, I can only imagine for her, but I guess she didn't really know. And then I had just said, I jinxed it, you know, like I'm telling you, you throw something out in the universe, it comes back and hits you. I said, you know, well, at least it's not raining. That's the good part. I said, I don't like, you know I don't like driving, because she knows I don't. I said, you know I don't like driving in the dark. I says, well, the good part is that as soon as we get up to Hall Road, it's really well lit because there's all these street lights, whereas the route we took didn't really have that many street lights. But the reason I didn't take the other route is because there's construction, major construction on that road, and that would have been, like, we would have been really backed up, so I didn't take that road at all. So I no sooner said, well, at least we didn't get rain, and then it started raining, and then it started pouring. It was like pouring rain, and it was like, and so we were only like 2 miles from the place, and she says, well, at least we're not that far, and we'll be up to Hall Road. And I go, yeah, where it's all lit up. No. They lost power, and so the street lights weren't working, like at that particular part. So it was dark. It was really dark, and it was raining. It was like Rocky Horror Picture Show when they're going down the thing and they see the castle in the distance. Oh, I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. How many people went to see Rocky Horror Picture Show? How many times? I don't even know how many times I saw it. And at the time I was 26, and I had Jimmy. My sister Mary lived with me, so she watched them while I went, because I would go with my girlfriends. Or Jim would watch them too. Jim never went. That was too juvenile for Jim, too immature for Jim. But he used to go, and I used to dress up and throw the toilet paper, squirt the gun, say the lines. It was just, so then when it finally came on TV and we watched it, I mean, we knew it was stupid, but watching it on TV, it's like, oh my gosh, that was really dumb. But we had fun. Trying to think because it was so dark. I was wondering, how did they get on that subject? You know, I find myself doing that a little bit more. Kind of scary for me sometimes. But if I can live in my own little land and I'm happy, what difference does it make? So far I seem to be happy in my little wonderland that I'm in, although it does concern me at times. But so anyway, we got there, I dropped her off and went to Christy's house, and then I was home by 8 o'clock. Was it 8 o'clock? No, I picked her up at 8 o'clock. We were home by 8:30. So that wasn't too bad. And then kind of dozed off and on the couch. I watched some YouTube videos. I was watching Jones Point of Plate had recommended The Average J. I love the way he does his videos, because he puts like little movie clips and things that, like when he talks about things like I do, but he puts like the clips in that actually show you. So he's got really good editing skills. But I'm kind of curious as when he gets to the level where he can be monetized, if he'll be able to do that, because then I think you'd have copyright infringement issues. So I don't know. But right now, while he's not getting any money ads for it, it's fun to watch. It really is. But his channel is The Average J. And I do like that. And then I know my questions were confusing. And one of the ones that was getting, I know the one that confused a lot of people was the difference between a soulmate and a life partner. And I was confused on that too. So I did look it up, and here's the definition. See, Jim pretty much meets both of those qualifications for me, because he does kind of teach me things along the way, but, you know, we are kind of like in it together. You know, we have too much dirt on each other, you know, like we can bribe, it was like when you can't, you know too much about somebody and they're afraid that you can't let them go because they're going to divulge your secrets, you know, kind of like, well, not that that would keep us from, you know, but you know what I mean. But anyway, so getting back to the rain. So last night it started storming, and it was like really storming a lot. And then Jim come in the bedroom and he says, it's really starting to rain. He was like so excited, hoping that we were going to lose power. thinking, no, you silly goose. But I can see we spent so much money, you know, you kind of want to get some use out of it, but no, we didn't lose power. But a lot, so when I got up this morning and I was ready before I really needed to go, I was watching the news and they were talking about all the people with power outages. And I says, aren't you jealous, Jim? Because we, all around us, my niece lost power and she lives probably about 15 minutes away from us. I says, oh, it's too bad we don't live by Kathleen. We could have lost power too. And he says, no, I just... So when I was getting my mail, I was talking to my neighbor. She says, oh, I'm kind of jealous. I see you have a new, how did she put it? A new toy in your backyard. I said, yeah. I said, but the only thing is it's going to be kind of loud. And she says, yeah, Jason, that's her husband. She says, yeah, Jason was saying last night. He says, well, I bet you Jim's hoping they lose power. See, they know Jim so well. I says, well, I'm going to feel so bad when it goes on. And he says, no. She said, don't feel that way. She said, because both Jason and I say, what we're going to say is, you know what that sound is? That's the sound of jealousy. Jealous that they have it and we don't. I said, well, if we ever lose power, we have another portable generator you can use. And I said, you know, maybe if you didn't tap too much in, you could plug into one of our outside extensions, an extension cord over to your house. Because I think we got a big enough one that we could put a little bit more power into it. And then, I don't know if I had mentioned it yesterday, that I went to take my shower. And usually my shower, the water heaters, the way they set up the house, it's like the water heater is the farthest away from the kitchen, but it's also kind of far away from the bathrooms. I don't know, they didn't really put it in an ideal location as far as I'm concerned. So what I have to do when I take a shower is I have to turn the water on as hot as it'll go. It can't go any hotter. And then get my towel, get my clothes all together, and then by that time the water is warm enough, and then you push it back halfway, and then it's like warm enough to take the shower. So yesterday I did all of that, turned it to halfway, and just got in. I don't test the water because I just know once it's at this one position it's going to be perfect. I know I should test it, but I don't. And I get in there and it was like, and I turned it all the way back, and I kept like edging it to the hotter, and the more I edged it to the hotter, it wasn't getting hotter. So I really quick took a shower, and it was like when you put your elbow in the water for the baby, and it's kind of like cool, but it's not hot, but it's not really warm. You know, it was like that. It was like a baby bath. So I told Jim, and he says, well, I think it's maybe they didn't light the water heater when they had to reconnect the gas line. So he went down and tried to light the water heater, and he couldn't get it lit. So then we called the people that installed it, and they were going to send someone out. And so Jim says, well, let me go try one more time. So he went and he tried it, and it worked. So now we have heat, and we have water. So that's good. Well, we always had water, but I mean hot water. Because there's nothing, I don't like a really hot shower, but I definitely don't want a cold shower. So, but anyway. So then when we went and found out about Jim's computer, he didn't have a virus. It was just needed to be shut down like we did, and we got it back, and the guy tested everything. He did a forensics check on it, and he found everything to be in perfect order. He couldn't figure out what was wrong with it, and so he said that, he says, I can send it in, but it would cost you $200. And I says, well, we're part of the Geek Squad. And he says, well, no, what we just did was the Geek Squad. He says, what you want is something deeper. He says, and I don't really think you need it. So I said, oh, okay. So we tried to show him what was wrong with the one site that we were trying to get on for one of Jim's credit cards that wasn't letting him get on. And I said, well, I can get on it on my Mac, but I can't get on it on his tablet. And he says, well, sometimes it's set up that way, you know, maybe you might have to call them and have them walk you through it. Because what was happening is when I would put in the user ID, when I go to click to the password, the user ID would be capitalized then, although his user ID is all lowercase. And so then we would try to do it all capitals, thinking that maybe if we did it all in capitals, it would revert to the lower. No, it stays in capitals. So we figured it was just a problem with the site. And so then today I was kind of playing with it, and I figured out a way to get into it. So I did get into it. So we did get it fixed. But then we went over to Panera's so I could get my sandwich and the soup. And I was just so disappointed. And I turned to food to make up for that being mad at being mad that the sandwich wasn't good, because I closed out my video, got it all set up to go up. And then Jim says, you want to go to the Dairy Queen? Don't ask me if I want to go to the Dairy Queen. You know I'm going to say I want to go to the Dairy Queen, and you know I'm not going to get what we call a baby cone, which is just a small little cone with a little bit of ice cream, which would have been more than enough. What's my new downfall? Yep, banana split. So I had a banana split. But you know what? This morning I woke up smiled. I'm going to start again. So I think that part of me, although I don't weigh myself every day because I don't, but I had like over a 3-pound loss last week, and that just scares me when I have that big a loss, because a lot of times I think that, that means that I'm not going to have a loss next week. And so in the back of my mind, I always think, well, you might as well eat what you want to eat because you're not going to have a loss next week. I think part of that played into it, which I shouldn't have let that thought come into my mind, because who's to know? Maybe I'm going to lose some weight tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, the banana split didn't help. It didn't. But I planned accordingly. But then it's 2 days in a row eating out, plus the banana split. 3 strikes, as they say, you're out. But I just, sometimes I like to blame it on my parents, because the little cartoon at the beginning, your parents, they told you to eat all your food on your plate, not to leave anything on your plate, because when you grew up you'd be big and strong. Yeah, they lied. I only turned out to be big because I'm not very strong. So I still have that concept in my mind that I'm big, and it bothers me. And it bothers me to come on here to tell you that I screwed up yet again. But it is a little embarrassing, but I have to tell myself, don't be so embarrassed, because we all mess up. We all mess up all the time. And I know it seems like it's hard, but look again. It may seem hard, but it's not impossible. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult this time around. I wish I had the fortitude that I had when I first started, because I was watching Joan's Pointed Plate. She was doing her weekly highlights this week, and I so agree with her. At the beginning, I couldn't wait to get on the scale. I just knew I was going to have a great loss, but not so much lately. No, I don't look forward to it, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. But as I always tell myself, it's never too late to start again, and I'm going to starting again and starting again and again and again and again, as many times as I have to do it, and because there's no giving up on me. And I guess I just got to try something a little bit different. I don't know what it is, but obviously I got to try something different, because there's something I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something wrong. So we're going to figure that out sooner or later. You like my shirt? It's made in America with Irish parts. My mother is like a mix of everything, and my father's grandparents, or his parents, I always get confused on that, came from Ireland. I think it's his grandparents came from Ireland. I think his mother was born here, or his mother was born in Ireland and came here as a baby. I get confused on that. But I just know I have family in Ireland. In Michael something? Some town that starts with like saying Michael. I don't remember the exact town. But we have family there. So if you're from Ireland, what town am I talking about? It's Michael something. Can't remember it offhand, but I should look it up. But we do have family. My Irish name was Fanion, F-A-N-I-O-N. And then they changed it to Manion, M-A-N-I-O-N. And then when they got to the States, they changed it to Manning, M-A-N-N-I-N-G. So I think that my relatives in Ireland are Fanion, F-A-N-I-O-N. So, all right, well, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Well, I don't have my microphone on, and I know that it's kind of breezy, so hopefully you're hearing this. I had to end the video abruptly, because my grandson David called me, and he was in a car accident, and I think he totaled his truck. I feel so bad. He took such pride in the truck. He's fine. The lady in front of him that he hit is fine. She was going to stop for the light, and then at the last minute decided, no, she was going to go through the light, the traffic light, and then at the last minute decided she wasn't going to go through the light, and David was assuming she was going to go through the light, and then she didn't go through the light, so he rammed her. His airbag went off. Nobody got hurt, so that's the thankful thing, because you can always replace the vehicle. But so now David has my car until he figures out from his insurance, because he does have the loan agreement, like a rental car, so he will get a rental car, but he needed to go to work tomorrow, so he has my car. It's always something. And on that note, I'm going to end the video, because I'm going to be helping him and his mom figure out how to deal with the insurance company. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button, share. Think somebody might like to see it. As always, stay safe. David, I wish David would have listened to me. That's why they call it an accident, but thankfully no one was hurt.